Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome to my channel, welcome to the shop. What I'm going to be doing in this video is I'm going to start working on the boat trailer that I bought, changing it from a boat trailer to a flatbed trailer specifically meant to haul the Baja bug. I'm going to set it up so that it's like pretty much purpose built to haul the Baja, but it's also going to be set up as a flatbed so I can use it for hauling steel or engines, parts, whatever I want. I'm going to design it so that it's, let's call it dual purpose. But for the most part, it's just going to be a flatbed trailer. Those of you who watched my last video and noticed that my dog wasn't very active, you can see that not much has changed. But we'll leave him right there because he does look pretty comfortable. Now what my plan is with this trailer is right now, because I'm in this shop and I'm trying to get things set up, what I'm doing is I bought this as a boat trailer, and I'm not going to transfer the title from this just into my name. I'm going to actually retitle it as a homemade trailer, because when I'm done with it, it's not going to be a boat trailer at all. And I've done it in the past where I'll take a boat trailer and I'll just transfer the title into my name, and then I'll do whatever I want with the boat trailer. And I've never had a problem with that, but this one, I'm gonna try and do it a little bit more legit. So the way it works here in Colorado is I have temporarily registered the trailer, but I need to take it to get a VIN verification, or in this case, they're going to actually assign it a VIN, or I think it's gonna be a tag that they'll have me put on the side of the trailer. Once I have that, then I'll go back to the DMV with that VIN number or that serial number, whatever it's going to be, and then they'll issue me a title. However, I have the appointment set up to bring it to the police department and have them do an inspection on it. I haven't made it into that trailer yet, so I need to build this into the flatbed that I'm going to make it into before I can do that. So I'm going to start doing that here in this video. This video is not going to cover it start to finish because there's too much to do. But I'm going to start this video, give you the basis of my design, and then get as much done as I can, and then I'll probably finish everything in the second video. Now what I've done with the trailer is I've already stripped the, it had, you know, rollers on there and a little winch up front. I already stripped all that stuff off. So what I've done is I've measured how wide the front is on the Baja, I've measured how wide the rear is, and I've measured how long the actual wheelbase is on it. Now with the trailer, the width of the trailer right now works out pretty good. It's probably 2 inches too narrow, but I'm not gonna make any major changes on that. If the rear tires are right on the edge here, or possibly an inch or 2 over, I'll be able to build just a little extension off the side here, because I don't wanna have to widen the axle or do anything extravagant like that right now. I'm going to kind of build a deck on top of here that's going to be just as wide, and it's going to go up and kind of make the front square. So whereas this is essentially the trailer right now and it kind of curves in here, I'm going to remake it and it'll be square up front, obviously, for the front wheels. The tongue and the overall length will still be the same. The axle is still going to be in the same position. I am going to make a little cutout in the back here so that the transaxle and the engine, when it's on the trailer, are pretty much open from underneath. So what I'm going to do for starters is just start cutting the metal, and I'm literally going to just build it right on top of this frame and get kind of like a base structure going. The way that I bought the steel, I bought enough steel for this trailer to build myself like a base, and then the rest of the steel I have to use from this trailer. So because I already paid for this trailer and bought this trailer, in order to recoup the money that I spent on this trailer, which was 400 bucks, I'm going to be obviously reusing the trailer axle, but I'm going to use a lot of the steel as well. So really what I did is I drew up the trailer. I looked at how much steel I could utilize on this, and then I figured out how much new steel I needed, and that's what I ended up buying, which ended up being 2 sticks of 4" by 3" by 1/8" wall, 2 sticks which are 20 feet long, and I had them cut them in 2 12-footers and 2 8-footers, and that would cut them into the appropriate lengths that I could use them up on here. So the first thing I'm gonna do is, I told you I pulled off all the rollers and the pulleys and the winch up front, and in doing that it gave me a whole bunch of these U-bolts, because this trailer is essentially built off of U-bolts. It's kind of like a big erector set. So what I'm doing here is I've got a little jig set up on my bandsaw, and I'm going to run all the U-bolts through like this and cut them to the same length so that I'll get pieces like this. And then when I'm making the new trailer, I'm going to use pieces like this, because I'll end up with, I think, 12 of them when I'm done. I'll have these welded all over the trailer as places where you can secure a ratcheting strap. So I'm going to finish cutting all of these, and then I can take the little jig off of the bandsaw and start cutting the larger pieces, and I'll start laying them on top of the trailer frame here. Okay, so in those last couple of clips, you just watched me cut these pieces, and what I've done since then is just lay them down on the trailer, pretty much how I'm going to be installing them, and then I don't know if you'll be able to see, I have cleaned up the edges a little bit, kind of feathered things out a little bit to get them ready to be welded. So I've set the pieces on here just like they're going to go, and you can see I've got 2 straps kind of drawing these pieces in just to keep pressure on them. This is the front portion of the flatbed, and then back here I've got a bar going across here. It's 26 inches up from the back here, and that's where I'm going to have the little portions of the legs coming out for the ramps where the rear tires are going to sit, and then this area right here is going to be open. Now the way I'm going to weld this, I'm going to weld it up just on top of the trailer as it is now. I'm going to do what I can to square everything up. The first thing I'm going to do is go up and tack that corner together. Then I'm going to go over and I'm going to tack this corner together. Then I'm going to take measurements, square things up as much as I possibly can, and then I'll check a bunch of measurements back here and I'll tack that piece up. I'll do the same thing over here and I'll tack that up. And then I'll take a bunch of measurements and put the other pieces in place and tack those up. Once I have all that stuff tacked up, I'll check measurements one more time, and then I'll weld it up a little bit more solid. All right, now I got these two front joints tacked up 90 degrees. They are extremely square. I ran around with my square numerous times. I had a ratcheting strap on here to pull things in to make sure it's nice and square. They are extremely square. So because of that, I put this piece on here and clamped it down. Once I had my tacks, I'm calling them tacks, they're more like stitches, but once I got my stitches in place, I got this on here just for some added stability, some strength, while I go to the back and square everything up back there. I'm not focusing too much on these front pieces because I think I'm going to put some sort of a miter in there or something to clean it up, just give it a little bit better of a look. But you can see I've got 2 stitches on the top, I've got a stitch down there, and then I've got 2 stitches down there. So that's, as far as holding that in place and holding it tight, that's really good. But like I said, just in case, I've got this piece on here just for, you know, to keep it true a little bit better. And I've got the same stitches on that end. Now I'm going to come down here and I'm going to check a bunch of measurements and square things up and clamp it down and then stitch everything in place here. What I've got going here is I've got a very strong 90 here. I've got a strong 90 here. I've got a strong 90 there. Now, I don't have a strong 90 there, and I know that doesn't make sense. If these 3 are 90, that by default has to be 90. I'm not sure why that's not working out. This is already stitched together. I'm going to stitch this together on both sides, because I want this definitely to be a hard 90 out of here. So I'm going to stitch this both sides. I'm going to stitch this one just on the inside so that if I need to tweak this in a little bit, I can. Right there, right now, there's too many pieces floating around here for me to figure out exactly why I can't get a hard 90 out of there. So I'm going to do what I just said. That will lock this in so I can take the clamps off. I can essentially take the clamps off here and still be able to make some adjustments here, and I'll figure out what the deal is there and then stitch that up. All right, so let's fast forward a little bit here now. I've got these end pieces tacked on. They're actually a little bit more than tacked at this point. I have solid welded the bottom portions, and when I say that, I'm actually building this trailer right now. This deck is upside down. Once I weld on the trailer leaf springs, then I'll flip it and it'll be right side up. So I've got the back portions here solid welded on the bottom. I'll solid weld them on the top and the sides once I flip it. And I'm not solid welding the front corners yet because, like I said earlier, I still plan to do a little bit more up there with 45ing those or something, so I'm just going to leave them stitched for now. So what I've got going on here is I did purchase new leaf springs and shackles for these. The reason I did that is the leaf springs that came on here are I think they call them sliders, and it's actually, first of all, it looks horrible. But it's got a bolt through the leaf spring right there. But in the back here, it doesn't actually have a loop. It slides, and there's no way to make that so that it doesn't squeak whenever you're going down the road, and it's horrible. I can't stand that. So because of that, I bought a new set of leaf springs. I bought a new bracket there, and in the rear, this is what they call a double eyelet with a shackle leaf spring, so it's more like a traditional suspension, and it's actually got a shackle there, and nothing's actually sliding, it's just going to be pivoting, so hopefully I can grease all that and keep it relatively quiet. In addition to that, the leaf springs were like $26, and I think this bracket kit was, you know, like $20. This stuff's really cheap. I don't know if that's good or bad, but either way, I'm upgrading that a little bit. So I have slid these up into position so that the center of the new leaf spring is in line with the center of the old leaf spring, because I am going to start by keeping the wheelbase the same on these. So I've marked out all those measurements, and I'm going to run some welds on these to get those in position. And another thing, if you look at the brackets here, I've taken my grinder and cleaned up all the edges. Not a lot, but when you buy these things, they are like right out of the press, and their edges are really sharp. And since as fabricators we're trying to take a little bit of pride in what we do here, I just ran the grinder around all corners, corners and edges, just to smooth everything and make it a little bit nicer. All right, there's our there's our leaf spring brackets. I've got them all welded in place, and I even threw some gloss black spray paint on there so that I can bolt everything in place and not have to worry about trying to get paint in there when I'm actually painting the trailer. So that's gonna be it for this video, guys. Tomorrow morning when the paint's dry, I'll probably come out and bolt the leaf springs on, make sure everything's good to go there. And then I'll probably take the axle off. I'm gonna actually pull the hubs off, clean them up, do a little inspection on them, probably paint the axle, and then probably bolt it onto the trailer. Then at that point, I'll start the next video, which will be flipping the trailer over, cutting the white one, the existing one, cutting that one up so that I can use the steel for it to weld in more supports and braces, and I'll weld the tongue on and all of that stuff, and then we'll start drilling all the holes for the lights and whatnot. But we'll worry about that in the second video. Some of the stuff that I've bought so far, and I think I'll try to get the specifications of the trailer just in case. I'll probably put a file in my shared file, and I'll put a link to it in the description here so that you guys can go there and you can see like what leaf springs I bought, what the dimensions are of the trailer, what lights I bought, and things like the grommets to go with them, and the plugs, and just stuff that if you're thinking about doing something like this, it would be very helpful to have all the part numbers and all that stuff. But either way, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. This was actually a solid week of me just sneaking out here and working on it after work. These videos are difficult because they're so chopped together, but I think I did a pretty good idea of kind of showing you the flow of how this process is. I hope you guys are enjoying it, and I hope you stick around to watch the other episodes so that you can see it all the way to its completion. I know I'm excited to get it done so that I can throw the bug up on top of it and actually take the bug to the off-road part. So I hope it's helping you guys, and I hope to see you on the next video. Take care.